So, yeah, call in. Tell me what you think about this idea. What can we do about global warming that really makes sense? Because it's such a total situation. We have to have a holistic perspective on how to deal with this crisis. This is also a image created by Dr. Paolo Soleri of this new city design, and you can see the greenhouses at the bottom of this plan, and this would be solar energy, or it could be beaming energy from outer space, because we have to realize there is a connection with energy from space and beaming it down in microwaves so we could have 24/7 energy. Now, I was at a recent event where a nuclear scientist was talking about why we need nuclear power, because cold really won't solve our energy needs, and natural gas is also limiting. And we certainly need to get off of fossil fuel if we ever want to end war and become free of addiction. So this could be a solution to all that. So if Arizona became a center for solar energy, and if we could get our defense contractors, which are very numerous in Tucson and Phoenix, to start developing solar-powered satellites, then we could start building arcologies to use that energy. Arcologies also conserve the water, so it's a different way of life. It's a collective way of life. Now, that's different than the nuclear family situation where everybody's just spread out and you don't really want to hear your neighbors and you don't want to have much contact with people in this isolated, alienated culture that we presently find ourselves. So look at this beautiful design here. If you can just imagine living in something where you're going to have the central areas be focused on the arts and culture. Soleri calls it the urban effect. And what that means is when people live very close-knit situations and this urban effect happens, which means that you have this accumulation of ideas coming together. The forces of evolution are expanding rapidly. And perhaps this is a singularity city. And what I mean by singularity city is that it's a smart city. It's going to have a brain. The internet, it runs all through it. So it's very connected to this world, global mind that we see evolving. And I think it would only take just a couple of arcologies before we realize that this is a superior system of living where we have this mass transportation running through the city, so you no longer have a car. Now, that's one of the central themes of an arcology, is it's car-free. Of course, you can ride bikes, or there'll be elevators or moving sidewalks so that handicapped people would be able to get around the city. But it equalizes out the social situation, because in a car-ridden city like the one that we are living in presently, it's a car have and a car have not culture. And if you're too young to drive, then you don't have access to good transportation. Or if you're too old to drive, and therefore you also are limited in your transportation needs. So we've got to change this. This has just got to change. So please call me and tell me what you think. How can we make this pattern happen? How do we get people to start imagining a better situation? The architects are here to do it. They are building things like this in Dubai. They have plans to build it in the Tokyo Bay, another sort of arcology. There's an architect that I love, Vincent, who has some beautiful plans of how to change New York City into a more livable environment. So they're out there, but what we need now is the poetics to make it happen. The poetics and the politics. It's where the poets and poetesses, basically the poetesses, because this is a queendom of love, this will be their highest project. It's the noble goal of humanity, is to realize that, yes, collectively, we could build this kind of city. We can build a new social architecture that is such an evolutionary city that everybody can say, yes, I have a role in that city, and I'm going to have more liberty and more time to develop who I am in that city. And that's the real test of what a good city is if it isn't a slaveocracy. So it doesn't enslave people, but it actually frees them. And also I see within an arcology, it would have robots doing a lot of the labor.